There are a ton of different ways to select things in Adobe Illustrator, so I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways and give you kind of a hot take, which is that I don't usually use layers when I'm designing wedding invitations in Illustrator. And let me show you why. So I'm in Illustrator and I have this full wedding invitation suite that I have designed, as well as save the date. So you can see there's a lot of different pieces here. We have at least 10 artboards in this file. So yes, you can use layers to select things, to turn things on and off. As an example, one option people have is just to put an entire card on a specific layer. So you'd have your details card on one layer, your wedding invitation suite on one layer, so that you can kind of turn on and off different layers. Another option would be something like putting the backgrounds and shapes onto their own layer and then putting all the text onto another layer. And then if you have any like design elements, florals, etc., putting them on another layer. So for instance, we could grab these backgrounds, just cut them, create a new layer underneath the other one, and then paste them back in place. That way, if we ever wanted to make sure we're not interrupting or moving any of the backgrounds, we could just lock that layer, and then we know that no matter what we select, we're only selecting the text. Or if we need to select all of the text, we can just use layer 1, select all, and it's gonna give us basically all of the text for these particular pieces. It might also give us certain things like this design element, this tile shape here, the QR code, etc. Those type of things. You can decide whether you want those on the background layer, a third elements layer, or to keep them on the text layer. So if we wanted to change the color of all of the text, if we have that all on its own layer, and I can select all of the text at once, then changing the color of it is really easy. You can see I just changed all of the text to pink. So I love layers. I think they're really wonderful. They're especially helpful in Photoshop where you might be erasing something that is literally directly on top of something else. And depending on the type of design you do, that might be really helpful. It might also just be how your brain works. But I want to show you a few other ways to select things and kind of give you an idea of why I don't really use layers, because I find that it's easy to select things and lock things, etc., without actually putting them on separate layers. I know this is a totally hot take in the design world, so I'm curious what you think. Let me know in the comments. Feel free to roast me for not using layers. So when it comes to a full background, such as this green, which is just meant to indicate the color of the envelopes, I typically just lock that, and that's just Ctrl 2, or if you go into Object, Lock, you can lock other layers, all the artwork above, or you can just lock the selection. So that's Ctrl 2. So I'm never gonna move that because that's just supposed to be there as an example of the back, the color of the envelope. And then when I'm ready, I can just unlock it with Ctrl Shift 2, and then usually I'll delete that and turn this into a more print ready file. But for something like this that I'm never ever going to move once I draw the box, I'm just going to lock it. I don't need to necessarily put it on its own layer to lock it. And then other backgrounds like this one or this one, I can always lock them as well if I'm afraid of moving them. Typically, I'm putting them behind the text anyway, so you can do that with just the arrange and send to back, send backwards, or you can use these keyboard shortcuts with the brackets that I use all the time. They're going to be behind it, so I'm not really accidentally selecting them in a lot of cases anyway, but if you do find that difficult, then of course lock it, put it on its own layer, do whatever works for you. One thing I love about Adobe programs is that there's so many different ways to do things. So typically I'm not having that issue where I'm accidentally selecting something. This is actually a great example where these little lines might actually be kind of hard to select because they are sort of on top of this text box. But since these are in the front, they're actually a lot less difficult to select. If I were to bring this text box to the front, then I would have a hard time selecting these lines behind it. So I'm going to use the order of different elements to make it easier on myself when I'm selecting different things. So often I'll just make sure I bring anything like this over top of the text box. So when I'm selecting the text box, I can still grab these because they're on top and it's easy to grab them. I also utilize the selection tools in so many cases. The select panel is so slept on. So you can select everything. That's going to select everything that's not on locked layers. So if you do use layers, this will select all. You can also select all on active artboard. So if I have this selected, I can grab all of this, and there's keyboard shortcuts for all of these things, making it even faster. I just want to show you where to find them. Up here, I can also select the inverse. So if there's two things that I don't want to select, but I want everything else, I can just select inverse. It's going to do exactly that. Grabbed everything except details and this text here. Another one that I use so much is the same and the object panels. So same, I like to use same appearance. That's if you have a lot of objects with the same drop shadow or the same opacity, you can grab them all at once. You can grab things by the same fill and stroke color, or just the same fill color and or stroke color or stroke weight or opacity. I've made a custom keyboard shortcut for select same fill color because I'm doing that a lot. So if I'm grabbing this text and I need to change all of the text to a different color, I can just click Ctrl U and it's going to select all of the text that's that same dark blue color, and we can change it to something really garish and terrible like this pink. So that's Ctrl U. I did that because in my head, like in England, they spell color with a U, so that's easy for me to remember. And I definitely wasn't going to do C for color because I need Ctrl C for copy. So that's why I created that custom keyboard shortcut. I use that all the time. So you can further specify your selection based on all of those different text properties, which is really cool. One thing to keep in mind is that if you have multiple types of text in the same text box, then it's not going to be as good at reading them. So for instance, if we did same font family as this one, it's probably, yeah, it's just not going to select anything, probably because it's confused. But this one only has that cursive font in it. So if we did the same font family as this one, it's going to find that elsewhere. But as you can see, it did not find that same font in this box because there's multiple fonts in the same box. This is another thing that people do differently. Sometimes people put all of their text in the same box for a piece. Sometimes people split it up like this with the details and then have a different font family in a different text box. So I know that's a preference that can vary. Another option is the select object option, where you can select all the brush strokes, all your clipping masks, all your stray points. I like to do this if I'm doing a lot of work with the image trace or I'm bringing a lot of outside vector elements in. I'm going to grab all those stray points before printing to make sure something doesn't accidentally get into my file that I don't want. But then another one on here that I use a lot is the text objects, and you can select point type or area type. If you're not familiar with that, that's kind of that blue or white, and it's whether the text box is changing based on the text or the text box is staying the same and the text within it is changing. So just keep that in mind. I never remember which one is which, so I usually just use all text objects. And I've made another keyboard shortcut, which is Ctrl T, that just selects all text objects. So I know a lot of people like to separate their text and elements on layers, but if you can select the text really easy with a keyboard shortcut like this, especially when you're ready to print and you can just click create outlines, outline all of the text at once, then you don't really need to put it on a separate layer because it's just as easy to select it whenever you need it. Or if you want to select everything that's not the text, for instance, you can just do Ctrl T, select text, and then go with the inverse, and that's going to select everything on here that's not text. Another cool thing you can do is save your selection. So I'm just going to grab a couple of random things here and we will save this selection, and I'll just title it random. So if you ever come back, you'll have that listed here as random and you can choose it to select. So it's kind of the same thing as putting things on a layer anyway. So I love that there's just a million different ways that you can do things. You could group these things together, then you'll always be selecting them together. You can put them in a selection, saved selection. You can then edit that selection. So there's just a ton of different things you can do here and a lot of different ways that you can select tools. So to me, being really familiar with both my keyboard shortcuts and my selection panel, as well as creating some of those custom keyboard shortcuts like Ctrl T for all text objects and then Ctrl U for same fill color, those are some things that make the layers panel kind of unnecessary for me. I know you're probably going to argue that there are some additional capabilities with the layers panel, and I absolutely agree with all of those, and I use it sometimes. And I think you'll find that even if you have a preference, you still love to use layers, etc., knowing how to use these different tools that Illustrator offers will just give you a lot of flexibility in your designs. So I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear you roast me for not using layers. I know there's a lot of capabilities in the layers panel that don't just have to do with selection, but I am excited to give you a few more options. And hopefully you'll enjoy some of these things you can do with the selection panel. Maybe you'll take advantage of some of these custom keyboard shortcut examples that I've given you, and maybe it will make your process a little bit faster. If you want to learn more about how to design wedding invitations in Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop, check out our full Creative Cloud bundle just for wedding stationers. I promise that even though I don't typically use layers, I do teach you to do all the things the right way, the real graphic design way, even if I don't always follow my own advice. So check out that bundle to learn so much more about how to use Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop when you are designing wedding invitations. Thanks for watching, everyone. Can't wait to hear what you think.